What's going on, folks? Here I go back again with another episode, Red Clothes Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Boogie 215. Shout out to my co-host Frex. But I'm here, the man of the hour, here with an honorable guest, somebody I looked up to coming up playing basketball, somebody I can go to from my neighborhood, being from North Philly. Um, Give it up to my guy, Mirror Range, Dawud Morris. What's up, baby?
What's up, Rob Boogie 215?
Oh, you nut. uh, right into it, Don. Being from North Philly and the rigors of North Philly, tell me about your upbringing on your side of North Philly.
Yeah, north side of Philly where we always rep. Um, I'm from we from the same neighborhood, just a couple blocks down. I
Yep.
grew up playing all sports. Football was my first love. Just playing on the block versus other
Mm-hmm.
blocks in the neighborhood. That's
Mm-hmm.
where the fun was. Then,
Mm-hmm.
like turning 14 was really when I first shot my first basketball, and it was on a crate. So,
Great master.
we found, yeah, crate master, man. You master that jump shot on that joint. That joint take you a long way. Not
Fact.
even realizing it at that age though. Not even realizing it
Mm-hmm.
at that age though. But, playing crate basketball, one love led to another. I found my passion with basketball. Around 15, when I started playing organized basketball, it was my first time playing organized basketball at 15. It was different for me, but it kept me out the streets where we from somehow, some way. It just seems as if no matter how much you don't want to be in it, we just we
Mm-hmm.
we just in it, and and something has to pull us away. So sports was that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, didn't try out in middle school at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then in ninth grade, I wound up getting into some trouble, some legal trouble. That put me back some time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a short period of time. Not too many people know that story, but it was a short period of time for me to get myself straight. And it happened in the summertime. So in the summertime, I just couldn't come outside or do anything. So when you gotta sit down, now we know this, but when you gotta sit down, it gives you time to think. And
Mm-hmm.
coming up in our communities, if your mom and your if your parents not really tough on you and
Mm-hmm.
strict on you, which we need coming from our communities, we need the strictness. If they not
Mm-hmm.
tough on you, man, you ain't really learning nothing. So the system had to do that for me at a real young age. Not purposely trying to get in trouble, but it just happened, and that's what changed my life. Another thing that a lot of people don't know is I ran track and cross country in
Mm-hmm.
high school. Starting in 10th grade, I actually have more trophies in from high school running cross country and track than I do basketball. I wound up going to Strawberry Mansion High School and running cross country and track there. Tried out for varsity in the 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make varsity. Wound up making JV. It was so much talent at Mansion. I wound up
Mm-hmm.
making the final. I wound up making the final cut of varsity my junior year, and wound up just automatically getting a bid on a starting spot on JV. And that JV team, it wasn't just the team; it was the coaching. That it was so structured. Shout out to Coach Sunk, and I know any other Strawberry Mansion legend or affiliate, will some was something there for a lot of us young men and women. He sent a lot of us on the right path. So
Mm-hmm.
having him as my basketball coach, he also was my cross country coach. So I was being structured
Mm-hmm.
all year round, coming from cross country season right into JV season.
Mm-hmm.
We wound up going undefeated JV, and my senior year come, I'll try out for varsity again. I wound up making the team, and after I made the team, I wasn't starting. I came off the bench all of preseason,
Mm-hmm.
and one time I was in practice. And Coach Hendricks, shout out to Coach Hendricks too, because he gave me the opportunity to, display my talent that I never knew I even had. Nobody never even told me how good I was as a basketball player. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't know, because I just didn't know. So one time
Mm-hmm.
at practice, he was like, "Just throw it down, Dawud." I just threw it down. That was my first
Mm-hmm.
time dunking, bro. I was
And 12,
17,
and 12,
getting my
and 12th
first
grade,
dunk.
and 12th
Huh?
grade, and 12th grade.
12th grade, bro. My
Uh,
first dunk.
yeah,
I
you
used to
definitely
lay
got a
the ball. I
story.
used to lay the ball up above the rim, bro. I was scared to
I used to do the
turn it
same thing.
over.
I used to do the same thing. I used to do the same thing. I got cussed out for that. I had to do that in ninth grade though. Ninth grade, I had to dunk my first dunk going into ninth grade. First ever. I used to do the same thing. My brother made me dunk at Whittier Park. Right at the park. I couldn't. He like, bro, I'm not feeding you tonight if you ain't dunking the ball, bro. Enough of this layup stuff.
Yo,
But
but that's
let's
crazy how much courage you get and heart you get with, just turning it over. People may not see it, but after
mm-hmm.
you get that joint and that walk home or wherever you going after that, you like, it's over now.
Mm-hmm.
It's over now. But
But like
growing up in Whittier, where I really met you at and got an opportunity to build a relationship with you.
yeah.
I know you a couple years younger than me, but we both grew up under the
Mm-hmm.
old head,
Yes.
under the old heads. And
We don't
that's
got that no
where
more though. That's what's missing. That's what
no,
the
we ain't
game
got that
missing
no
now.
more. The
That's what the
game is
game missing
missing the
now.
old heads and outdoor basketball with the toughness
Mm-hmm.
that brings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little quiet guy, and I know that. That's just who I am. But I still have that toughness instilled in me because that's what you had to have to be on the
Mm-hmm.
court with the old heads. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why Whittier Playground means so much to me, you, and everybody in that community that grew up
Mm-hmm.
in that era. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my upbringing as far as the neighborhood. I want to mention that the guys that I grew up watching were the
Yeah, but
Purcell Coles,
mm-hmm.
Ricardo Good, Jermaine Williams, and
Mm-hmm. Legends.
Jermaine Washington's. So those
Mm-hmm.
those 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 were the guys. Up until
Mm-hmm.
I got to Mansion to meet Maurice Rice, I really didn't. I heard about basketball names, but I really wasn't in the basketball world to feel the effects of, oh no, I don't want to play against him. I don't want to play against him. Because when you hear that, when you hear names, it's like some people sound like they frightened to play against that person.
Yeah.
I was never frightened to play against that nobody at all. It just wasn't in me. I just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to just play and just play the way I knew how, and
Mm-hmm.
as much practice that I could get.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got me to being, as solid as I am on a basketball court.
Yeah. But
My senior year, I also met through a friend of mine and a cousin of mine. They was playing AAU basketball with Philly Heat. You familiar with Philly Heat?
yeah.
Yeah, Coach Kinley, man, he
Yep.
changed my life, man.
Coach.
He
Yep.
changed my
Yep.
life. He I started practicing with them my senior year. So I was practicing with them AAU, getting workouts with them, and I was practicing with high school at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
I know you ain't supposed to do that, but
Yeah.
for me, I was just
You need
working
it.
out with them up until like spring season, and you could play some games. Man, that was the first time I got taken on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I got taken out of Philadelphia, got taken out of Pennsylvania. The opportunity to play, build relationships with my teammates. And
Mm-hmm.
from there it was just like I had the sense that I was always a team player, like that type. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what once I started playing AAU ball and Coach Kinley, not made promises to us, but he made promises in the sense of getting us to the next level, no matter what it was, no matter if that was junior college, a prep school,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that was. And once that was mentioned to me, I just wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted. And from that point on, I just chose basketball. And once I chose basketball, it was over. I just was focused. I ain't have no distractions. And you start to fall in love with, you start to sleep with that basketball at night. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You start to go out there shooting on the crate in the rain. You know what I'm saying? So little
Going
stuff
to the
like
park,
that.
going to the park with the snow. You know what I'm saying? All that. Yep. Yep.
Yep, all that
Especially
stuff.
especially our park for sure. For sure. Going back to it because you talked about a lot of your work ethic. Um, and I see a lot of kids now, it's like it's all about talent, but it's no work ethic. Like a lot of people, like your story is somebody that it'd be like shunned upon because you was 11th grade playing JV. But they don't know, like back in the day it wasn't transferring schools. You wasn't going school to school. You really had to sit there, wait your turn, put your work in. What's something that you could tell the kids, like from your story about you being 11th grade, going into 12th grade, making varsity? Eventually, we're gonna get into that part what you eventually did, going to college as well, and turned out to be a pro. What's some advice that you can give to these kids now that on their first sign of trouble, they ready to buck. It's over with. I'm transferring schools.
It's about never giving up, and some kids know that it's instilled in them and they don't give it that chance. I gave it
Mm,
that chance to never give up. As
mm,
as heartbroken as I was getting cut from varsity that year, guys make it to the third cut. You looking at the talent around the room saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it." So I didn't know the reason why I didn't make it, but it was heartbreaking for me. And as nervous as I was to go and ask the coach what was the reason, he
mm,
sat me down and gave me the reason. And I made sure that I focused on my JV season, correcting myself, and in the summer, correcting myself. And that's
mm,
where the AAU stuff came in at because I had the opportunity to get more time on the court. And
mm,
my mind changed
mm,
on what I had to do to make
mm,
that to reach that ultimate goal, which was making varsity, and being
mm,
a part of achieving something for myself, and playing with possibly the greatest scorer in Philadelphia high school basketball history,
mm,
Maurice Rice.
mm,
So what the message that I tell the kids now, man, is to never give up. Don't be afraid to ask questions, you know, and make sure you got somebody in your life that ain't gonna sugarcoat anything, and make sure they tell you the truth for your journey. You know,
yeah.
most of the
Mm,
times, some people will sugarcoat,
mm,
but you will come across the right person that ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing. It may be tough to hear, maybe not what you want to hear,
mm,
but it's the right thing to listen to. It's
mm,
the right thing to listen to. So now what you have to do is you have to take control over your emotions. And if you can control your emotions and your mind, man, you can go on anything. So that's my message to y'all, man. Try to take control over your emotions. Don't get too let down on yourself, and strive for greatness.
that's what it's all about. Let's talk about this historic run, your 12th grade year coming into it. How
What, my
was
high
what,
school year?
yeah. Let's talk about
Oh
that 12th grade
man,
year.
this
Let's talk about that
coming
12th grade year.
yeah, coming into my senior year, summertime, I wound up playing. No, I didn't even play with the team in summer league ball. They had Positive
Mm,
Image back then. I didn't
mm,
even play with them. It was just the returners and who they had in mind to play, the next season with them. But I still was
mm,
playing AAU, so I still had the opportunity to work on and be on the floor playing a ton of minutes, bro. Minutes matter. Meaningful
yep.
minutes matter when you got somebody on the sideline that's really teaching you how to
Mm,
play the game and getting the best out of it. So
mm,
yeah, September and October, I was preparing myself for cross country, which was a huge year for me also, my senior year, because I was number one in the area and number one in the district cross country. So,
mm,
so that was a big year for me, September and October. And, I wound up being, number one in the area, number one in my district again for cross country. So I was
mm,
already coming into varsity tryouts in more shape than anybody on that team because not too many guys
mm,
on the team ran cross country. And the ones who did, they already knew what it was with me when I stepped foot Belmont Plateau cross country season. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was I was tough in cross country. You know, and having a tough cross country coach, that's where a lot of my discipline came in. That's where a lot of my inner strength came in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because it ain't no joke running those rock hills and that grass, and everybody behind you is trying to get in front of you. You know, so I was leading the pack and had to stay in front. So that takes a lot mentally on how you going to prepare to stay in front. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
I wound up making varsity easy. I wound up making varsity easy. I'm just running up and down the floor. You know, it ain't no plays being taken off, and that stuff stands out. You know, so now
Mm-hmm.
I had an out standing out in a way of me having an outstanding tryout. You know, so I basically coasted through easily. So I
Mm-hmm.
make the team first cut this time. I'm there. I'm there. So
Mm-hmm.
now we in preseason. We in preseason. We had a transfer named Delton Morgan Hines. He transferred from Martin Luther King, and we was about the same height, so he was our center at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We had a roster Maurice Rice coming into his junior year, Aaron Brown in
Mm-hmm.
his senior year, uh, me my senior year, Sharif Jackson his senior year, Maurice Stennis his senior year. So we was loaded with
Charles
seniors.
Stennis. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the best junior in the country possibly in Maurice Rice. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So preseason, we wound up playing some big time schools. I forgot what school Charlie Villanueva played for, but we played him. He was with Luau Dang in high school. I believe we played
Blair
them in high school.
Blair Academy.
Blair, yeah, yeah, Blair Academy, and yeah, we lost preseason. We was 0-4 preseason. We went up Glen Mills and lost the Glen Mills tournament too. Man, once we
Mm.
got to the pub, it was over. We wound up going 24-0 in
Mm.
in league play. 24-4 with those preseason games, with those preseason losses, but those
Mm.
preseason losses got us right and ready
Mm.
for the pub. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so man, we had an amazing run, man. I was a part of a great team. I was a part of Maurice Rice scoring 63 points. I believe that's the highest points he had in high school in a single
Mm-hmm.
game. I was a part of that,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and outside of me playing center, you know, what that taught me was it taught me how to rebound, how to block shots, how to get back on defense, how to play high low, how to
Mm-hmm.
all of the little intangible stuff that a lot of players are skipping now just to shoot a
Mm-hmm.
3-point shot. I was taught,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I had a great partner in Delton Morgan Hines, had a great coaching staff, and man, that was like a great year. I wish we could have kind of played the next season games when they played against Sebastian Telfair and LeBron James. I wish I could have been a part of that because we had a senior class that would have competed a little bit better against those
Yeah.
guys. You know,
Yeah.
so we had some underclassmen on the bench that really didn't play that much the season before
And it
that
wasn't ready
wound
for
up
that.
playing. And yeah, everybody wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably was averaging that season probably about 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 or 3 blocks. But that comes along with my other big man, Delton Hines, probably averaging 10 points, 8 rebounds, and the same amount of blocks. So we was owning the boards. We was owning down low.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
people
we
probably
built
look at them
up.
stats. And people might look at them stats and say like that's not much, but they don't understand. Y'all had Maurice Rice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all job wasn't to score. Y'all job wasn't to score the boards, do everything else. Y'all had Maurice Rice. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, and out of those 8 rebounds, we probably was getting like 4 offensive joints.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how a lot of our points happened. But once playoff time came, naturally, my instincts kicked in as if I was running a cross country meet in the
Mm-hmm.
championship. You know, I wanted to come in first place. So all of my numbers went up in the playoffs. So now I'm
Mm-hmm.
averaging 13 points, 10 rebounds. I averaged a double-double in the playoffs, 5 blocks in the playoffs, not going for that, just playing,
Mm-hmm.
son. Just
Mm-hmm.
playing. And we wound up
You leaving
playing
it
in the
out there.
championship. Yeah,
You're leaving
just
it all
leaving it
out
out
there.
there.
It would have been over if you didn't. That's how you felt. In my senior year, I'm leaving it all out there.
And
I feel you.
we played against all the schools we played against leading up to that championship had seniors. So everybody had a good senior class, and we just was on something else because we had Maurice Rice over there, boy. He was a bad boy, especially
Yeah.
his junior year. He was a bad boy his junior year.
Mm-hmm.
And the championship game, I had a really nice game, and I didn't even know I won MVP, bro. I just was playing. I was excited to win a championship. You know what I mean? I just got called to the middle and saying I was the MVP. I didn't even know how to feel, bro. They had me on the news asking me questions. This is like amazing. It was an
Mm-hmm.
amazing feeling that I didn't even know how to respond and answer anything. I think I got caught with the face like when he was asking me questions. I
Mm-hmm.
just wasn't prepared for that moment, bro. But
Mm-hmm.
that from that moment on was when I said, man, I could do it. I
Bro,
could do it.
that's a crazy story, bro. Going from playing JV 11th grade to MVP of the championship game your 12th grade year, bro. I
Yeah,
know that was me. I know that inspired me as a kid. That's why I always looked up to you. Like he did what? And I'm watching that thing on TV on Fox.
yeah.
You know
It
what I'm
was on
saying?
Fox, man. Had the opportunity to play
At the
on
crib in
LaSalle
North Philly.
floor for the Final
Yes.
Four, on Temple floor for the championship game,
Shit
and go up
facts.
against a great Northeast team. They
Mm-hmm.
had some seniors over there and some really good players. Kyle Lowry was a really good sophomore that year. You
Mm-hmm. He
know,
always been tough. Mm-hmm.
my man Brandon Palmer, we from the same neighborhood, but
Shout out Brandon.
that was a great game to be a part of. Like a
Mm-hmm.
really great game to be a part of. But after that, man, I just said I could do this, and Coach Kenley wound up getting us in some tournaments on the road, and I had the opportunity to go try out for a junior college, and when I went and tried out for junior college, it was over from there, man. It was over from there.
Mm-hmm. So the school you ended up. So what's the school you ended up choosing? Your whole college thing. Did you have a lot of offers coming from there, or it was just the school you eventually signed to?
I didn't have no offers, son.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have no college offers. You know how they had Ted Leary, and I forgot who was writing all of his stories back then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it was like Amaro Austin was writing all of the recruiting classes and where they would go. But I got labeled as a Division III player. But still no Division III schools contacted me. No schools contacted me. What
Mm-hmm.
happened was my cousin was going to Lackawanna Junior College. They was offering him, and what happened was he wound up not going to school. So my AAU coach, Coach Kenley, wound up driving me up to the school for the tryout. And I was a walk on up there, no scholarship money. So I walked on at Lackawanna Junior College, and
Mm-hmm.
and they gave me opportunity all off of drive. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the conversation with the coach, but
Hold
it
on, your
worked
connection messing up a
out.
little bit, bro. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How we doing now?
Yeah, your connection was messed up a little bit. You say you're driving up to the junior college.
Yeah, so and he drove me up there.
Yeah, coach.
He
Okay.
drove me up there. Yeah, my AAU coach drove me up there. John Kenley, man, he's a meaningful part of my life and where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Drove me up there for the tryout. Wound up making the team, and like the year prior to me there, they was a major Division II junior college. So the year prior to me getting there, they had just
Mm-hmm.
lost in a Division II national championship game.
Oh, word.
And they had some freshmen there. Yeah, they had some really good freshmen there who was returning that year. So I was about to be a part of. I wound up lucking up, being part
Mm-hmm.
of another program with some really good players, but they wasn't from
Mm-hmm.
Philly. I think one of them was from Cincinnati and one of them was from like Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
So we wound up going back to the tournament, We wound up going back to the tournament that year, but we didn't get to the championship. I think we lost like second round. And then my second year at junior college, we wound up not making the tournament. We had a coaching change, man. And at those 2-year schools, when you have a coaching change, it's just, things change. So then you can't look forward to the same system, can't look forward to the same players. A lot of that stuff matters. So I had a good second year there too, because once you're a team player and the type of player that I am, that's what I was going to bring anyway. So I always was going to fit in, no matter what position they wanted to put me at. And I did 2 years up there. I stayed up there in the summer because I ain't want to come back home to Philly. And who knows what could have happened, not getting into anything, but who knows what could have happened. But
just Philly. That's how you look at it. But that's just how Philly goes sometimes.
Yeah, but after my second year, after my first year, that was when I stayed up there in the summer. So after my second year is over and I'm done up there, I came home and played in like 3 summer leagues, man. It was like, where'd he come from? Everybody wanted me to play on these summer league teams. And I'm just playing. I wound up getting a scholarship offer to East Stroudsburg University. And if anybody know anything about ESU and those coaches over there, they recruit differently over there. The type of players they recruit is all systematic type players, athletes who can run up and down the floor, because they pressing almost the whole game. So that was the type of player that I was. So they recruited me, and I wound up having a change of heart because my best friend, he was away, and he wound up coming home after a long period of time, and he chose Cheney University. And once he chose Cheney University, this was my best friend. So I got persuaded and wanting to reconnect with my best friend. He knew the coaches, and he got the coaches on the phone. And once he got the coaches on the phone, man, it's kind of like the coaches we fell in love with each other. Then I wound up going up there to physically meet him. And Cheney don't choose you. You choose the college. You know what I mean? So I chose Cheney. You know what I'm saying? So I chose Cheney, and just look, I got stories about that too, man. Just look at how I only played 2 years at Cheney, and then wound up being at Cheney for way longer post graduation as a college coach. As a coach. So that shows you how much of a good person you can really be, and the effect that people have on your life, and having them in your life, and really listening to the things your coaches say, your mentors say, and they're not going to tell you nothing wrong. And I didn't take that for granted. I never took that for granted. And the 2 years I had at Cheney, man, was some of the best years of my life. Not, just as a student athlete, because I had the chance to. First off, it's an HBCU, and we the first HBCU. I don't care what nobody else say.
That's right. Say it proud. Say it proud. That's what I'm talking about.
We the first HBCU, baby. We bleed that blue.
So it's not Lincoln. It's not Lincoln University.
Lincoln know the deal. Cheney University. We the number one. We number one.
Yeah, I hear it.
But yeah, I had the opportunity to build some more relationships with better basketball players, and these basketball players were majority from Philadelphia, and they were some tough basketball players. So my style of play was fitting for East Stroudsburg because they were more like me at East Stroudsburg. But when I got to Cheney, it was like I was fitting there as well because my style of play was like kind of like a perfect match. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a glue guy, a really good glue guy to come and help a program out. And I wound up walking on that Cheney because I turned down the scholarship at Stroudsburg. Cheney ain't had nothing to offer me. So I wound up walking on that Cheney and making that team. But I was killing those guys my first year at Cheney. I wound up redshirting. I was killing those guys. I was allowed to practice. I was destroying the starters. So it was like I couldn't wait to get on the floor.
It's up. I feel you. I almost went to Cheney. Following your footsteps. Chuck tried to get me
under what coach?
It was Chuck and Dom, Coach Dom under there.
Oh yeah, they ran a really good program up there, bro.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie, I left up because something happened. That's when the change. But the year when it came in, that's when something happened up there, and they wasn't there no more. So I had to get up out of there. That year, I don't know what happened, but Chuck wasn't there no more. That's who was recruiting me heavy to go there.
Yeah, you know, sometimes things happen, man. And one thing I know that you do, and one thing that I know I do, and anybody else, you know, I know that he doesn't make any mistakes.
That's a
I know
fact.
that we all believe in God and know that He don't make no mistakes. So you know, and He puts you in position to succeed. You know, I was
Hmm.
blessed to be able to be put in a place to succeed. And you know, after I graduated from Cheney in '09, I wound up putting together a highlight tape of my Cheney highlights, and
Hmm.
somebody abroad discovered it. And you know, that
Hmm.
next thing you know, an email led to a phone conversation. A phone conversation led to a email contract, and the email contract led to me a flight to, you know, the United Kingdom, where I had a
Hmm.
great career over there as well. You know, just in 1 year,
Hmm.
just in 1 year, I could have went back. You know, I could have went back, but the thing was, I got a little big headed because I thought that I was better. You could put him back there, coach. I thought that I was better than the league that I was in, even though it was a really, really good league. It was it was the top league in the United Kingdom. You know, it was
Hmm.
the top league in the United Kingdom. But I had a goal. Let's see where it goes. I had a goal in mind, man. I had a goal that I wanted to either go to like France or China. So I was collecting my film, you know, and it came to a point where I didn't get the film. You know, they you know how clubs are. Clubs don't want to let go of
Yep.
film, and they wanted me
Yep.
to return. They wanted me to return. So that was a decision I made to just stay home. You know, I had a daughter at the time who, you know, she was 4. She was
Mm.
3 when I left, 4 when I got back. So the bond that I
Hmm.
had was like, once I got back to that, decision kind of was easy that, you know, I'm gonna just find me a job, you know, and
Hmm.
before you know it, I'm working 2, 3 jobs from 2010 up until 2012, you know, but I was
Hmm.
comfortable.
Hmm.
And, you know, and after that, you know, I got a phone call, and the phone call led to me becoming an assistant coach at my alma
Hmm.
mater. Nobody turning that down.
Facts.
Nobody turning that down. That was a blessing in disguise because although basketball players want to become coaches, you just don't know when you'll become a coach. I didn't know that I was going to become a coach that soon. All right, give me a second. All right. I didn't know that I was going to become a coach that soon. You know, so God blessed me. Even though He know I wanted to be around basketball, He put
Hmm.
me He put me this close to it. You know,
Hmm.
that this close to it. So for me, I'm still waiting on my brother. My brother coming. I'm Yeah, he got my car. You know, so that he put me that close to it, and now it's just in a different light. I'm not playing
Hmm.
no more. I'm 20. I'm 27 now. I'm a college assistant coach where I got to train kids, mentor kids, everything that I needed as a kid.
Hmm.
It was
Just
my
give it to
turn to
someone.
give that back. You
Hmm.
know, it was just my turn to give that back, and also, they were kids just like me, just like us, son. You
Hmm.
know, so and I never took that for granted. I could always share my story with those kids where we came from. We come from the same stuff, and you know that helped me be a better coach, a
Hmm.
better mentor, a better father, a better person overall. And I did 4 years as an assistant coach under a great head coach in Dom Stevens. Man, he was such a great man
Shout out
before he
Coach
was a
Don.
coach.
Hmm.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Dom. He's still my man to this day, man. And
Hmm.
you know, he taught me so much about being a man first.
Hmm.
You know, a father. You know what I'm saying? So me having him in my corner at such a young age, he was my father figure. You know, I'm 27 up until I'm
Hmm.
31. I got a great man in my life, which I was missing, you know, growing up. The
Hmm.
educational part of how to be a man, I was taught that by that blessing in disguise. You know, what it really was for. It wasn't for me to become a coach. It was for me to become a better man, a better
Yep.
person. And, you know, from 2012 to 2016, I was being educated on life and working with um educated people all the time. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I ain't got no time to be wasted on nothing that you
Mm-hmm.
can waste your time doing. You
That's
know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying? I was
Mm-hmm.
teaching, I was learning, and I was getting better at everything I wanted to do mentally. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So from 2012 to 16, I was the assistant coach. And
Mm-hmm.
from 2016 to 2020, I was the head coach. Being a head coach is something that most assistant coaches strive for and want to do, but that was something that I didn't force. It came my way, and I took advantage of the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't easy getting that head coaching job. I went through probably like 3, 4 interviews before I got that job at round tables of 8 to 10. Just questions being asked that I really didn't know how to answer, but I gave the best answer possible, and they understood that.
Mm-hmm.
So just being myself, and I was blessed again to be more of a mentor, an educator, a man, a father figure to guys who were just like us at more of a leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
So I was coaching guys I was a head coach coaching guys that's the same age as me. You know, that were the
Mm-hmm.
same age as me. I was 31 as a head coach. That's young on a Division II level.
Mm-hmm.
That's young as a division on a Division II level, and you know I I I believe because I can't take this fact that I believe that God put me there for the reason to be the strongest person possible, the strongest man possible for those young men to go through what we went through those 4 years when I was the head coach. Outside of
Mm-hmm.
us losing a bunch of games, me as a coach, and I don't think no coach that I've been around ever planned or prepared their players to lose a basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that you can do as a coach to possibly teach your kids how to win a game is what I've
Mm-hmm.
done. From film sessions to long practices to tough practices, removing players from your team and your roster that you feel as though is a cancer and a detriment to your team that you can't have around. Like all of the stuff that takes place in the locker room and behind closed doors as a head coach that you have to do, all of those duties, I done. And it was grateful for me because the education part, it was just like the developmental part of me, who I am right now, is like I can sit in a room with anybody and apply to any job that I want off of who
Mm-hmm.
and what I've been around, like the older gentlemen in my life that I've always been around as a coach. When I was a head coach, my assistant coach was in his 60s. So it's like, and he had much more experience in coaching than I did. So in a sense, I kind of wanted to prove to him that I could do it. So he would correct me on mistakes, change some things around to make me better, but not in his
Mm-hmm.
own way to try to say, no, I belong here and not you. No, let's let this young man learn. And I know if I would have done anything wrong, he definitely would have corrected me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for all of those guys that were there. My assistant coach, Coach Bell, Coach Benjamin, and Coach Dom Stevens were like the most influential men in my life during my time at Cheney. And excuse me, one thing a lot of people don't know is in 2018, this was at the end of I was going into my 3rd year as a head coach. We got removed from NCAA competition. So now all of our games were meaningless. Were meaningless. So now also going from having 22 scheduled conference games, we down to 0. So now I have to schedule 28 on my own. So now I'm contacting every coach on the East Coast, D1, D2, D3, junior college, anybody that we could possibly play. I had to do. I had to contact. I probably sent over 100, 200 emails. Out of the 100 and 200 emails, 90% said no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 90% of those said no. So the ones that said yes, I'm asking for 2 games. And those 2 games, if they can be 2 road games for us, I just need my guys to play. then there'll be 2 road games, but
Right.
also during that time, we lost our AD, we lost our athletic staff. So now I gotta plan, prepare the budget, you know,
Mm.
get the buses, the hotels, and all of that administrative side stuff that
Mm-hmm.
basketball coaches shouldn't have to worry about. I had to worry about. Me and
Yeah.
my coaches had to worry about. So for me, I don't think that those tough times were to put me down. I think that they were to educate me, and that's where the gratefulness comes in, that
Okay.
because the opportunity for me to grow and learn how things work, it worked out for me. So now if I am to choose to go back coaching again, I know the perfect situation that I would
Yeah.
want to be in. I can say no to some jobs, as I've done, as I've
Mm-hmm.
done. So yeah, that's
That's
the changing
I
story
ain't
that I
never
have.
yeah I didn't know it was up. It was like that up there at Cheney for you, but that definitely just prepared you. Like you overqualified now for your next job for real. That's the craft. That's the
Yeah,
blessing
no,
in disguise. Like they actually know a budget. Yeah, I know how to go budget myself. I did a whole program budget and some. I know how to schedule games, give people all that. I did all that already. That's different, man. I didn't know that up Cheney. I knew something happened up there, but I didn't know it was to the effect that y'all wasn't NCAA sanctioned and none of that anymore. They back on track now
yeah,
for what's the NCAA now, right?
no, I don't think they're NCAA no more.
Mm,
That whole ship sank because they're in a rebuild process of athletics. So
mm,
2020 was my last year of my contract, and that was the COVID-19 year. So they
mm,
didn't have basketball the following season.
mm. They have basketball
And
now though, right?
yeah, they had it. They wound up bringing it back in 2021.
Okay.
But that was already when the situation of us not being in NCAA for 4 to 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was easy to plan games because it was already set in place where all I gotta do is look at the schedule we played last year, send them
Get
another
set.
email. Can we play you this year? You know what I'm saying? So a
Mm-hmm.
foundation was set that I built. I've done a lot of training that I just don't talk about. I can let it go now because it's been some time and I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel bitter towards the situation. You know,
Right.
I started
Mm-hmm.
writing a book, so a lot of this stuff is on black and white. But yeah, it was tough, and that ship was sinking, and I sunk with that ship. The ship didn't go all the way down, but I was
Mm-hmm.
sinking with that ship, and I was the captain. I was going down with it with my boys, but it
Mm-hmm.
was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for us when we got to practice at Westchester Gym because our gym is down and it's cold. It was heartbreaking that I had to explain that to my kids. It was
Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking that we didn't have meals in certain times when we needed meals. We on the road. It's heartbreaking when your bus goes down on the road and it's freezing outside. It was
Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking for me to explain to my players that we're practicing and playing games just to practice and play games. We are no longer
Crazy.
competing for any playoff or championship. That's what was
Yeah.
heartbreaking, and that's what I had to stand strong and keep my integrity on, because if I were a player, things could
Mm-hmm.
have been different for me. And
Mm-hmm.
the players that I had, it would have been difficult for them to transfer to any other school and get the playing opportunities that they've had at Channing University. So now I'm sitting down having meetings with my players. Just get your film together for this year and try to get somewhere next year. To my seniors, get your film together and try to go overseas. Put this together and do this for that. But it was hard. Then you
Mm-hmm.
got guys don't want to show up for practice. Guys showing late for come to
Mm-hmm.
games. So
Mm-hmm.
that led to a lot of stuff, man. And
Mm-hmm.
in due time, God don't make no mistakes. I
Mm-hmm.
wound up having 8 years on my resume as a collegiate coach, and
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have wanted to be a coach anywhere else, anywhere
Mm-hmm.
else. So I'm grateful for the opportunity, for that opportunity. It was educational for me. And any of my players, no matter how much playing time they got or didn't or didn't get, they know I didn't steer them wrong or send them down the wrong path or didn't have their best interests at heart. I trained all of my guys one-on-one personal training. I was always open, and my office was always open for those guys. The gym doors was always open for those guys, and I was always available for them, no matter what was on the table, whether it was family outside of school or whether it was school. And another key thing, son, right? Every year that I was a head coach and an assistant coach, all of our athletes were great students. We had an overall 3.3 GPA every single year. And that's what people don't take into account, how good of a student they were in the classroom, so.
That's tough. That's big.
Yeah, that's the change story. I'm not sure what else.
And if y'all was in the NCAA, y'all would have got paid for that. Y'all got some money for that. If y'all was right with y'all GPA, I know they give out extra money and all that stuff for that. For your GPAs and stuff.
So I'm not sure what else I can share like on my mind now. But if you have any questions about my Cheney story or anything that I spoke about, you feel free to ask.
No, my next question for you is we ain't gonna go too much longer though. My next question for you is, in the midst of you doing everything, all that at Cheney, you started the league of all leagues in Philadelphia, and you brought it back home. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the nitty gritty of it all. And I mean, like everything that you had on your plate that was like I never knew that was going on at Cheney. We had little talks about it, but not in that sense. Like of all things, you took the time out and brought the league back to the neighborhood that was missing. We was missing it all. So tell me a little bit about that process that you was going through with that, and with all that on your plate, you still took the time out to find a love what you was doing.
Yeah. So with all of that, I still have a family. I still have a wife and children that I'm doing all of this. So during my coaching, when I first got hired as an assistant coach in 2012, that was the same year I started MMBL. So now I'm going from coach in the fall, the winter, and spring season to a commissioner in the summertime, trying to build up my community, building up my community with these young men, and also being a father, a husband, a basketball coach. I was all of those things, so I was busy. I was busy, but one thing a lot of people don't know about MMBL is that when it first started in 2012, it wasn't just me. It was 4 of us. He outside. It was 4 of us, and it wound up being 1 because all 4 of us, we had a plan to do 16 teams, and all 4 of us were supposed to get 4 teams apiece. Everybody didn't come through, and I was the last one standing, and I just kept going with it. And one thing led to another. We was out there in tank tops. We was out there with T-shirts with numbers on the back, falling off the back. And man, and then it led to the biggest thing in Philadelphia in the summertime. And it was a really tough league, and I'm glad that platform was built because a lot of players like yourself had the opportunity to come out there and showcase your talent against other top talent from all over Philadelphia. In a very, very, very difficult environment.
Everybody
in the summertime. A very difficult environment in the summertime. And I've learned so much by holding that helm, and one thing that I always mention to people is I didn't want to be compared to any leagues prior or any leagues that were current during the same times that I was doing it, because that would not have made me better. The only person that I was in competition with was myself, and how can I make this league better tomorrow and next summer. And
Mm. You
every
did.
year
You did that.
it happened.
Yeah.
It happened because I wasn't focused on anybody else's program
Mm-hmm.
outside of mine. Outside of
Mm-hmm.
ours. Because that's our league. I
Yep.
just was organizer. That was our league, man. Whoever
Mm-hmm.
played in that league, that was ours. And shout
Mm-hmm.
out to you. You was there from the beginning. Shout out to everybody that was a part of MMBL. Table staff, cleanup staff, everybody from the beginning when we had the white cutoff T-shirts. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
My kids grew up there with MMBL. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
It was
Like
right there. It was right
I
there.
have a I have a son now who looks at my logo and say that's daddy. Like
Mm-hmm.
things I couldn't have imagined
Mm-hmm.
is right here in front of us now, and I can sit back and I had a lot of time to sit back and think since the COVID year
Mm-hmm.
to now and say, yo, we really did that. Like
Yeah.
and now there's leagues out there now, shout out to all the leagues out there now doing their thing. I can see now what they're after, and
Mm.
I'm no longer after those things no more. At one point I wasn't after it; it just came naturally,
Yeah. It
So
was a natural thing.
it was a
You got
natural
you
thing, and I can see
you had a
what
chance
guys are
to
after now.
you had a chance with that to unify the cities because at first it started off as a North Philly thing, like a neighborhood thing. It started out with blocks. It started out with the blocks and everything like that. Then it just unified from neighborhood to neighborhood, sections of the cities. You had West Philly teams come, South Philly teams come, different areas of North Philly teams come, Northeast teams come. So it was Southwest. You had everybody come around put their team in to find out who was the best section in Philadelphia. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
man.
and it was totally organic, but it's definitely something the city needed. How you unify the city, and on top of it, it stopped a lot of the violence that was going on in the city.
Yeah,
Even though we had some minor altercations there, little scares there at the park and stuff like that. From the most I know, like nobody really like nothing really bad really happened there. You know what I'm saying for us to have to get shut down or anything like that. We had some ego tripping and things like that, but it was never no to the point like, yo, we can't have this no more. The cops shutting us down. The cops just come sit right in the park with us and watch us play. Knew the star players by names and everything.
yeah.
Come through,
We had
come
two
through, give
bridging the
us
gap
that.
games.
Yep.
Remember?
Yeah, I play. Yeah, I know. I got the chips. I had to
You
bring the chips home. I had to bring
Yeah,
the
you
chips
part
home.
of
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
bridging the
yeah.
gap.
Facts,
Us
facts,
versus the
facts,
PPD, man.
facts,
That's what's
facts,
love, and that's the respect
facts.
that we'll always have.
But
A lot of
had to
people
come out
don't
there and
know
show
that.
the love.
A lot of people don't
Had to
know that
come out.
that the barricades that we use now they were given to the league.
Mm,
From them off of the relationship we built. So they
mm-hmm,
wanted to make that as safe as possible. They wanted to do anything possible that they can do to help us, whether it was playing in the game, whether they were being there spectating.
mm-hmm.
Man, those relationships that were built, they go a long way, and
That's
that's
a
why
fact.
I never burn a bridge. I
That's a fact.
build the bridges, and let other people walk over them and build their own.
Mm-hmm. So before we get out of here, I know you say you on a different endeavors now. I know I was able to come be a part of it. Need to come when I'm back in the city more to be more a part of it. Let's talk about what you're doing with the Victory in North before we
Oh
get up
man,
out of here.
victory! Yeah, victory in North is I was contacted by Mike Morak. For
Oh, Mike.
everybody that don't know him, Mike Morak.
Mm-hmm,
He contacted me some time before Victory in North started and said that this program was about to hit North Philly. He really
mm-hmm,
wanted to focus on the 3-2 area, and
mm-hmm.
our MMBL is in the 3-2.
Yep,
Shula
that's where we
Playground
from. Yeah,
yeah, we in the 3-2. So
mm-hmm,
he couldn't leave me out of what he was building.
mm-hmm.
Along with AO, Aaron Owens, he's from the 3-2 as well.
Shout out,
So
yeah.
so Victory in North is great for the community. We offer free skills and drills. We offered a league last year, that was sponsored by Victory in North, a
Mm-hmm,
developmental league that we held at Shula Playground.
mm-hmm.
Our skills and drills are based indoors at Cristo Rey High School, and
Shout out,
now
man.
at the Martin Luther King Center on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm,
We were based indoors, and Mike Morak and the Victory in North crew knew that I was going back outside in the summertime, and we put the kids that's a part of Victory in North on teams, and that was our basketball league, in the
mm-hmm.
summertime. So now we're able to give back to the youth
That's what
how
we're
we
supposed
want
to
to
do.
give back to the youth, and
Mm-hmm,
Victory in North, and that's what Victory in North stands for. We have some great coaches and trainers. Myself, we have Aaron Owens, we have Mike Morat, Sharif Bray.
Sorry.
We have Sandy
Shout out my boy.
from yeah. We have a bunch of good guys,
Mm-hmm.
who are great, man. We have a great team. Shout out to Mike Morak and the whole Victory in North team, man. And we only getting started. We just
Mm-hmm.
getting started, and everybody that's a part of the program, we love it, man. So
Mm-hmm.
shouts out to the Victory in North team, my man Taylor, and my man Hunter, all of
Mm-hmm.
us, and shout out to my man, what's his name? Coach Samp, and
Yeah.
Coach Chris, all those guys over at Cristo Ray, man. Y'all doing a great job over
Shout
there.
out
And
Dot. Shout out my boy Dada. He done left Victory enough. He with the Brooklyn Nets.
shout
Shout
out
out
Dada,
Dada.
man. You doing a
Dada.
great thing, man. Y'all come to
Facts.
Philly. Get everybody Victor and North some tickets, Dada.
Got to. Got to. Got to. Yes. But bro, listen, man. I appreciate your time, bro. For real. We gonna definitely tap in again because now I need to sit down with everybody with Victory and North and chop it up with everybody and get them on. But I'm gonna get them everybody face to face in studio type thing. But bro, I appreciate your time, bro. For sure,
I
man.
appreciate you too. And listen, man, I knew who you was the whole time you was coming up, man. Because one thing you don't shy away from is asking questions. And I
Ever.
know I seen how you built your relationship at the playground with me, everybody
Mm-hmm.
that came before you, and
Mm-hmm.
once you became a part of the real basketball world, man. All the relationships that you have with the whole city of Philadelphia, man. That's great for you. And I wish you well with all of the interviews that you have to come and everything else, all your endeavors, my man.
I
Much
appreciate you,
love
bro.
from me to you, and shouts out, shouts
No, for
out to
sure.
Rec Close Podcast.
Yeah,
And
man. I appreciate you, bro.
if there's any skips or buffers in here, and you feel like you want to jot some questions down and re-ask them to me,
Got you.
I'll be available. All right.
I got you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, bro. Somebody I look up to, I'm able to, get you on here, interview you, and I appreciate that, bro. For real. You don't understand how you allow the kid from North Philly to dream, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing somebody in front of me at that park, coming to that park in that summertime. And one thing about it is, bro, you never used to let me be on your team. Never. Only time I got on your team when we got older. Like, as you got older, then I was on your team. Like, I don't want no more competition. Now we going to school in. But
Yeah,
coming up. Nah, we playing against each other all the time. You know what I'm saying? But I
every time,
appreciate
bro.
them. And every time we played, I always asked you questions. Every time it was a certain move I wanted to know, or how you got to your shot, or how you got to your spot. And I never was afraid to ask no questions, bro. Because I was like, yo, that's somebody that he where I need to be at. He where I want to be at. You know what I'm saying? That was my odds. Everybody else, like we said in the city, we heard of the names, we heard of this, we heard of that. But you and Mike Cuffey, y'all the ones I was with, and I was able to turn on that TV to sit there and watch y'all on that TV and be like, yo, I was just with him the other day,
Yeah,
playing for that public league championship, bro. Like again, bro, like I was like, thank you, man. I appreciate your time, man. That's one thing we got to value in life. People can say, yo, what's up, yo, whatever, yeah, I got you. But when they make that time to do it, I appreciate that, bro, for real, from the bottom of my heart, bro, for real.
yeah, no
And when I
problem, man.
come and when I come back to the city, I got to come on a Wednesday so I can help the clinic out up there again. I got to show my face somewhere to my youngest.
Yeah, man, no doubt. You're a part of Victory in North too, man.
Fact already. I definitely come get some more shirts because I think I wore them all both of mine out. So I'll be there.
All right, Shine, man. I love you, dog.
Love you too, bro. See you soon.
All right.
All right.